Oh, Emma.
Please welcome back Emma Willmann.
Oh, Emma.
You're Emma. Oh, okay, Emma.
Here we go. Let's get crazy.
Oh, Emma.
All right, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Emma's Bunker. Today, I have a special guest. It's my friend Shavon, and she's not in entertainment, even though she's very entertaining. Some of the funniest people I know are not in entertainment. Whatever. But Shavon is a psychotherapist. I'm going to read you a little bit from her website. Because, you know, when you know somebody is, if it's a job I don't necessarily understand, then I have a hard time relaying what the fuck it is. Okay? I know what to say. I know the field of therapy, but I just want to get the credits right. She's a psychotherapist for groups and individuals using treatment modalities such as CBT, art therapy, narrative therapy, and structural couple family therapy to those outside and within the LGBTQI-QI, I swear to God, it goes 2-S+ spectrum. I'm not making it up. It's literally, there's a math problem now in the gay thing. I know that was offensive, okay? LGBTQIQIS minus G squared 7257 Yahtzee. Good God. Full respect to all it is. G and C, not the vitamin things I'm guessing. G and C dash non-binary and BDSM kink community. She has extensive experience working with individuals who have been diagnosed as differently abled, special needs, ASD, neurotypical, or with intellectual and emotional disabilities. Shavon also loves comedy. So she'll come out to comedy shows, and we've been buddies for a while. And you know, she's like a confidant of mine. I'll show her like material, see what she thinks of stuff. And in this episode, I reference, okay, if you've heard me in other shows, I referenced it before. I bring it up a lot. There's this masculine presenting lesbian, and when we first met, I was always like really nice to her. On paper, my career was farther along. I was always really cool with her. And then she became, you know, things kind of took off for her and she started big dogging me. I swear to God. People are like, it's in your head. It's not in my head. I promise you. And I was at this comedy club one time eating a plate of chicken wings. And I love chicken wings, you know, and I was really looking forward to it. I don't drink alcohol. You know, having a fucking chicken wing is one of the things I have to look forward to, you know. Oh, it was the best sauce. The best sauce. It's Frank's. I just love chicken wings. Email me at emmasbunker@gmail.com. Let me know if you like your chicken wings with the bone or just flat. You know, I don't really give a fuck either way. I kind of like the bone, but okay. So this fucking big dog acting comedian saunters over, me and one lesbian, whatever, and she goes, "I'm taking a wing." And she takes the wing and eats it and looks at me. I swear it was a power move. Guys, it was a power move. All right? If we were two dogs, it was like she was peeing on my foot. That's what it's like. Anyway, I've told the story about 700 times to any friends and family. So Shavon's heard the story a bunch of times, and there's a development in it that she hadn't heard. A new twist. Without further ado, here is my conversation with my buddy. This is my friend Shavon, who is a very great therapist.
Well,
and social worker.
The
and life coach. Just kidding. No, she's not.
Never.
No, she's not.
No.
I had therapy the other day, and I tried to make a joke in therapy where she said,
Stop trying to look for. Stop making jokes in therapy. Stop.
But this is what it was. I wasn't trying to like deflect or anything. She was talking about, we were talking about narcissism. And I was like, some therapists must have that. And then where I was like, I was saying, I said something, and then I was like, maybe I should have been a therapist. And I was like, I wonder if any people that are narcissistic are therapists. And I was like, probably, because then they can be a godlike complex. And I was like, oh no. And then there was a pause, and I went, they just become life coaches.
Yeah. That is 100% correct. They want all of the accolades. They want to do whatever work they do. I don't know if actual work, but none of the actual studying and following through.
my therapist didn't laugh. One, she went, okay. But
Good for her.
it's changing my friend. Oh, is she not supposed to laugh?
Not really. I mean,
Oh, I
the
didn't
thing
know
is,
that.
laughter in therapy is tricky, especially from the therapist's point of view, because it could be a deflection from your client to try to get you to laugh, right? Deflecting from like the tough work, if there's tough work going on.
Right.
And also, most of the time, the client is analyzing your body, your face, everything you do. They're analyzing because they want something. They want to see something. They want validation. They want to know if you're judging. They just want everything. So if you're laughing at something, in the moment, ha ha ha, it's funny. That client could then work up something in their brains like, oh, they were laughing at me. They think I'm funny. I'm funny. Now I'm a funny person. Or they think I'm funny. I'm humorous, but I was really serious. I mean, the amount
Right. Or like, why were you laughing at me? Actually, yesterday.
laughing at me, not with me.
Right.
Or, I mean, and people who have issues with attachment can think of like laughter as, oh, they like me. They were like, I'm the funniest client they have. I'm the best. You know, I mean, any and all of the things.
Or like, we're friends now or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of counter-transference, a lot of transference. So I try not to laugh unless if I make a joke about something very lighthearted, I will do that, but sparingly. I mean, like, rare.
What do you do if a client says something that is funny and then you just intentionally don't laugh?
Well, for me, it is something I probably should work on because I do like to laugh. I have comedy is like a love of mine. So it depends. I'll say, oh, I see how that could be funny. Like, I'll just...
Let me tell you something. Ouch. That's the worst. That's the harshest thing to say. It's better to just not laugh. Because if you say, that's saying, I see where you're going with that. I see how someone else that's not in this room could think that's funny. That's like if you were having sex with someone, you're like, I could see how that could feel good to somebody. Or something like that. Like, that's rough.
I know, but I have to make sure that the therapeutic relationship has integrity. I have to keep that integrity. And if I'm like, oh, you're so funny, and where am I going with that? Like, how does that feed the relationship, right? Right. Because then that might release something in the client. Then they're trying to make me laugh, and it's too murky. So I might smile, you know.
Right. She does like that. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of room for slippery slopes. Actually, this was really weird and it's stayed in my mind and I feel really weird I even noticed it. But she had like a little bit of breast showing, like a tiny bit of cleavage, and that made me feel really weird. See? She didn't mean to. It wasn't, she's like an older woman, not that they can't do that. I mean, that is really nothing to do with it, but it was just like, I don't know. I saw it and then it just was very weird for me. Oh yeah. We're talking tiny amount of it. Like, it was just a tiny bit down her shirt.
You see? That little bit of something that was completely innocuous to her, she probably didn't think about it or even realize it or notice it.
She wouldn't have realized.
Not meant something to you, but you noticed it, right? And then that spiraled your thoughts into things.
I wasn't like, oh, she fucking loves me.
She might.
Therapy's free today. I
don't show my feet in therapy. I do not try not to show any skin. I pretty much show my hands, face, I think up to my wrist. And sometimes I don't even like to show my watch because, you know, it's an Apple Watch and it'll blink, you know, a timer and things like that. Right. I take off all the rings, or I have earrings. I keep my wedding ring on, and that's about it. Because anything else, people read into, and I'm always covered all the way up to my neck. Even if I have a sweatshirt, a t-shirt that has something on it, I usually have in my office, I have a scarf and a sweater that I wear almost every time I see those clients, so that there's nothing I try not to wear a lot of labels because they can read into, oh, she's into this style. That means she must be this kind of person.
Do you know what I mean? Say something like, would you ever, like, I remember I had this, because when I was in a relationship with a therapist, it was eye-opening to see how people react when someone says they're a therapist, because I never thought of this.
All the time.
Never thought of this. And through my friendship with you, and then that relationship, it made me more open to it, like seeing it. And then also, you guys made me respect therapy so much more because I saw the person side of it. But it was really through being in the relationship that then I started being, because I didn't think of you in the of you as a therapist, since we met in such a different context. And then when I was in the relationship, we said, well, what kind of therapy does your friend do? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know about all the different things. But I remember I was with someone and they asked the therapist who I was in the relationship with, they were like, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever heard? And she was like, you guys don't actually probably want to hear about that. And then the person pushed it, and then she said, well, and it was super anonymous, but she said, there was this guy that used to go to like meth recovery meetings, and then he would find women that were like early in sobriety and then like make them suck his dick and then relapse them.
Oh, yeah.
This was at brunch, and then the rest of the brunch we were all like,
eek.
So do people ask you that too? Like, how do people usually react?
All the time. People will, I have to be very careful about who knows that I'm a therapist and my boundaries around it, because
why?
Because I'm a naturally just giving person, and I don't realize that people are just asking me, like they're asking Shavon, you know,
right?
Like for like a friend advice, like, oh, what should I do about this? What should I do about this? But when I tell them, they're really asking, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is not professional conversation. You are not my client. We are not. I'm eating Doritos. We're talking like
when the Doritos are out, office is closed. But friends give each other advice.
They do, but that's advice. Therapy is not advice. Advice is something like, what should I do in a situation, right? Therapy is a long, ongoing relationship when there are actual like peer-reviewed techniques that have shown worked and used, and it fluctuates, and there's like give and take in a relationship that happens. That's not friendship, right? Because in therapy usually is one-sided. This is the client, I am receiving, I'm taking this, I'm analyzing this so that I can show patterns to you. And a friendship, there should be reciprocity, you know, maybe 75-25, 50-50 one time. It depends what it is. Like, I can tell you what I'm going through.
Right.
My clients don't know anything about my life. Nothing at all. Like, nothing at all. So it can't be. So I say that. So when I started getting my sex therapy license, people,
I can imagine that would kick it up a whole other level.
Yes. So people will ask me questions about like, oh, is this weird? Is that weird? Or do you work with pedophiles or this? I mean, the question.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
They ask the wildest.
Ooh, that's an enticing question. How do you respond if someone else were to ask that? But
know what they say most of the time. I'll tell you what the biggest thing is. They ask me, has anybody ever told you anything that is a deal breaker? Because most therapists will say, oh, I don't work with this population because of my own issues and family and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And in regards to my sex therapy, I haven't come across something that I'll say, nope, I can't do it.
Interesting.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have colleagues that won't work with pedophiles. I have colleagues that won't work with older people. I have colleagues that won't work with small children, you know, whatever. I have colleagues that, you know, and that's why we refer each other and clients and so forth. But I haven't come across anything yet. And then people will start to ask me, what if somebody wants to have this? And I'd be like, okay.
Right.
And then try to one up everybody in the group. So.
I knew this girl really loosely who's like, was dating someone that worked in the ER, and he said that the most common thing that they saw in the ER, I think it was the most common, like not like something that happened to someone, like self-inflicted thing, was things getting lost in someone's butt. Yeah. And someone would say, they'd come in for something else. They'd be like, I cracked my ankle. And then you wait a couple minutes, they go, and
oh yeah.
The damnedest thing, when I sit this and then they do an x-ray and it's like, you got 5 potatoes in your fucking butt. So you get that too?
Anal beads get lost. Vegetables get lost places. Tampons.
What?
Yeah, tampons and a lot of things to stop menstruation get lost in people's vaginas.
What do you mean vegetables? And I want to not sex shame, so but I'm just, what do you mean? Small like cucumbers, like, you know, like the small, not right, what they call Parisian cucumbers. That's something that people use to
dilate their anus and sometimes dilate vaginas.
What's that mean? Dilate the anus.
Open.
Oh,
So, like,
open. Oh, yeah.
open.
Oh, right.
Sorry for the visual, but
Right. Thank you. Huh.
Because it's the same shape as a phallus, right?
Right.
They're small enough that you can start there, and they have an actual tip, so it can simulate, and then you can graduate, for lack of a better term, to different things that are more phallic, and they tend to be smooth. They don't tend to be like bumpy or rigid and things like that. So but the problem is they'll stick one and then they'll continue to do another to keep the canal open, and then they'll do more, and then they stuck up there.
How the fuck did they think? And how did they think they were going to get it out when they started making a whole salad up in the butt?
I think they thought they were gonna go in like this and pinch it out, but that's not how the body works. The anus actually sucks things. So I don't think they thought it through until it went bad, and then it's bad. And it's all bad.
Most people probably come to sex therapy when they have a problem, right?
What I've found is people know that I'm a sex therapist. Training. They will start off with just normal everyday kind of therapy issues.
Right.
And then one random appointment, they'll be like, so can we, or I was with my person and I really am attracted to latex. And I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. And then every single appointment after that is all about sex and nothing about interesting. So they'll go in, Right.
Like, oh, that's cool. You're a sex therapist, like on the side or whatever. I'm here for.
Right. They'll start with something a little bit more as what they perceive a little bit more acceptable. And then they'll slip it in and they'll be like, oh, I'm having issues with this, or is this okay? And then a lot of it is just they want validation. They just want to know like what they're into or what they want done to them or what they want to do to other people is okay. And they're not weird. And I'm like, there's no book. There's no handbook. There are laws.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But there's no handbook.
That makes so much sense that people would want validation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it can be even scary if you want to bring something up to a partner or something. And then like, it can be like, it's scary too, because when you're saying you're into something sexually, like say, you're into latex, or there's something I saw. Yeah. I guess it's latex where you get covered and stuff and then they like suck the air out or something.
Yeah, that's a strangulation one. There's one was like you're restricting the oxygen. It's also the latex because it's smooth for the part. I mean, there's latex can be used in all different types of ways, but most of it is just the airflow restriction. And like,
so that's like the common one for latex.
Latex is just common in general. They'll work latex into any situation. So it could be you're into oxygen restriction, and then you could use latex to do that because it kind of does that. You know what I mean? And there's a little bit of BDSM involved in that. So
and a lot of vulnerability, because say you were with someone and then you guys were into that, then you go on a date and you hit it off about something else. I wonder that a lot about things, because I've been like in like pretty kinky situations, then not kinky situations, but I was wonder if I'd been in something where it's like I discovered I loved something like latex, then that's really scary to bring that up to someone, I would think.
I don't think there's anything really scary under the sun. I think everything has been done or is somebody's doing it. And now with the internet, there's a world for everybody.
That's true.
There's a pot for every lid. So I don't really think that there's too much that people like. It's rare to find something I'm the only one that's into that. You know what I mean? Like I think everybody.
And you can suss it out on the internet, but also it's because we're in New York. But imagine if.
Not New York State. New York City is
New York City, yeah. Big distinction. Because imagine if you were in like Oklahoma or something and you like that, then I guess, you'd have to go on the internet. But what if you just like the latex and you don't like anything else?
Well, you can just get a car and you can drive to one of them states that's near Oklahoma and you'll find somebody. I'm sure people in Oklahoma are into latex. I'm pretty sure.
Can a relationship work if someone has a kink and their partner doesn't have that kink?
Yeah. I mean, I think if everybody's open to exploring it, if people are open to not exploring it, right?
Right.
If there's something that you both are into, then yes.
One time someone wanted me to pull their arm hair, and that I'm usually into something if someone else is attracted to something, but I thought that was really interesting.
Like, as in
pluck it, kind of. Well, so here's the thing. I don't think I handled it as well as I should. Oh, you froze up on me. Can you see me?
Like,
Can you see
I
me?
can see. Wait, almost.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I don't know if I handled it the right way because this was like I was just graduated college and she was a dominatrix, but she was like, I really like it if someone like pulls the arm hair. I guess it was for pain. And I was like, I wasn't just arm hair. She wanted me to pull it. Yeah, it's like a foreplay. I only did it once, but I never really explored it. I don't think I like was that comforting about it. I was like, oh, huh. Like I wasn't like, I think if someone said that now, I would know to be like, oh yeah, like, oh fuck.
It caught you off guard. Yeah, I mean, did she pick her own hair? Did she pluck her own hair? I
think she did actually. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it's not uncommon. I mean, people twirl their hair all the time, and I think that's a precursor to
right. You're right.
And I think that if she liked pain, if she likes the sensation of pulling out, individual hairs, it's probably a very small amount of pain and a very small amount of comfort that comes directly after that as well. Right. So you could use that, you can translate that to something else, right. Like a squeeze or like a slap or something like that can be translated. It doesn't have to be the hair, but if her thing was the hair, right, that's not super uncommon.
No, yeah, I think I just was. Yeah, I guess I was caught off guard, and I didn't know. I should have been. That's the only time I've ever kind of like not poo-poo's not the right word. I've ever like not been like been like yeah, like. And I remember that. I should contact her and be like, hey, remember that one time we hooked up and I wasn't like that like enthusiastic about the arm hair? Sorry about that.
I guess
is it narcissistic of me to ask you about narcissism? I would just love to get your thoughts on it in general, please.
No, it's not at all. I don't know why that's the thing. A lot of people who are not in the therapy world are very focused on narcissism. They're so scared of like narcissism. And
I didn't know that. So I didn't know other people were. So you get this question from other people?
Hundreds and thousands of times.
But see, when I messaged you about it, I'm not thinking of you as a therapist. I was thinking of you as just a buddy. So I wasn't. Right. But although, did I use that? I think I've met. Maybe I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking of you with your therapist hat on. But it's like you're more informed of it. But I didn't know a lot of people are interested in this.
Oh, it fascinates people to no end. I also think because people use it in the wrong context all the time. They'll say like, "Oh, that person's a narcissist," and I'm like, "No, that person's conceited, or that person's a dick." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
will you tell me more? Like, what are the differences of those things?
And there's, I don't know. There's a book that therapists use to diagnose people, and it's called the DSM-5. It's up to the 5th edition of that at the moment.
The DSM-5.
Yeah, you can look it up.
That sounds either like really dry or like a boy band.
It is very dry, but it's every single disorder, issue, whatever, personality, mood. There's everything's in there. Everything's in there, right? So to be able to qualify to have a personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder, right? You have to meet a certain criteria. So there are like 9 levels. Next is 9 like attributes or categories, and you have to meet a certain amount to be diagnosed in it. It's kind of hard to be diagnosed with it. Personality disorders in general are kind of hard to be diagnosed with because it takes a long time for the therapist to like see it and like recognize it and all those things. So borderline personality disorder and narcissistic is really, really hard to be diagnosed with. And they're probably like a misnomer. Like people will, just like people say like, "Oh, I'm so depressed today." You're not really depressed. You're sad, right? So people use the term interchangeably, like in lexicon. They're not using it. What's the
difference between sad and depressed?
Well, if you are depressed, it's a period of time, right? It's not just like 2 or 3 days. It's usually somewhere around 3 to 6 months.
So it'd be like depression is the restaurant and then sadness is something you order on the menu.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
I'm not mad at that. I would have to think about it a little bit more, but like off top, I think that does make sense. Yes.
Because it'd be like, that's probably a byproduct of depression, but you can be sad and not be depressed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because sad is kind of like an emotional state, but like depressed is like a mood. Like it's it's there, like constant, all
Right.
day in, day out, from 3 to 6 months, sometimes 6 to 12 months. You know what I mean? Like it's pervasive. Like you could be on the beach in the Seychelles, somebody massaging you, feeding you grapes. And if
Right.
you are depressed, you're depressed.
Right.
Right. But if you're sad, you're going to be like, oh, I got a phone call from Bob. I'm happy now. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like that.
So probably during quarantine, do you think there's going to be an uptick in people that are going to get depression?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Situational depression, which is a thing. Adjustment disorder, which is a big thing because everybody's adjusting to this.
What's adjustment disorder? I think I have that. And that's why I can never go in one of those books, because I'll be like, check, 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 check. I have a hard time adjusting to stuff.
Yeah, it's just adjustment. Like you're just having a hard time just to whatever that new life issue is. Like people who have a brand new baby and they're like, what? Or a new job they thought they would have wanted. And they'll be like, I don't want this job. No, thank you. You know, it's just life. Like, you know, somebody moves in and you're like, I needed a roommate. You got a roommate. I hate her. Like, you know, it's just adjusting to life. It's just adjustment.
Why is it so hard to deal with? Is it just like your brain getting like rattled?
Because we're creatures of habit. And once we get okay with the one thing, something changes and we have to make new wrinkles to adjust to the new thing. And it's hard to learn new things.
We have to make new wrinkles to adjust to the new thing.
Yeah.
So that's why someone that like grew up with chaos then would probably keep creating chaos.
Because it's comforting. Yeah.
And then adjusting to normalcy, that would be the new thing.
Yeah. Yeah. To no chaos. And they would be like, wait, what? Why is everything calm? And they would be worried and anxious. Like, oh, when's the other shoe going to drop? Kind of a situation. They wouldn't be okay with it just being cool and calm. You know, a lot of people who have issues in relationships with that.
Is it possible? Say the last part again.
They assume something's going to happen, you know, in their relationship. They're used to being like in a chaotic relationship or a toxic relationship and everything's fine. But they're constantly checking, constantly looking, reassuring. Like, is this okay? Are we okay? Are we doing okay? Everything's fine? But they're causing the chaos by constantly asking.
Right. And then maybe stirring the pot, being like, are you cheating on me? Or
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that, unfortunately. And that's going to happen a lot in this too, because a lot of couples are probably forced to be together at this moment.
Yeah, like a lot of time together.
So there's a lot. So if your foundations are a little on the shaky side, it might get a little shakier because you're like
together all the time. Yeah.
And together in uncertainty, right? Because they didn't say April 21st, everybody go outside, everything's great. April 21st will be fine. Like nobody knows anything.
How do you not to put you on the spot, and this is you as a friend and therapist, but how, or not even as in whatever way you feel comfortable being, but how do you feel? How is someone supposed to deal with uncertainty?
I think you have to deal with it minute by minute, or if that's too much, second by second. And whatever gets you through the next couple of seconds, whatever gives you comfort in the next couple of seconds, I would say to indulge in that, provided it doesn't hurt you or anybody else. Those are the two caveats I would say. I don't know if smoking crack for the next 20 minutes is a good idea because that hurts you. No, it could.
I'm going to go out on a limb. No, it's not. It is a bad idea.
Right. So people are indulging more in like alcohol and cannabis and CBD and like, you know, whatever they're doing. And I think that if you're able to handle those things under the normal, whatever normal means, circumstances, then you need a little bit more to get you through whatever life is giving you at this moment, then that's what you should do. Whatever gets you through it.
Because it can be a coping thing. I mean, even with alcohol, they even say in the program, they say it works until it stops working. And it's the solution at the time, not the problem. So literally, like, I don't think if I was drinking all the time, I don't even know if I would have started show business because I wouldn't have been, I don't know. It worked as a solve to be just doing the stuff in the beginning that you have to do.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I wouldn't have done it that way, but it does help you out.
I think the idea is now these really times are really uncertain, but we thought they were uncertain before. I mean, it's a whole new ball game now. But I think if people need a little bit more beer, okay, you need a little more wine, a couple more blunts. I mean, all right, girl, if you need 5 more hours of Housewives, no, okay. I mean,
but don't smoke crack.
What do to make it through?
Right.
I don't know if crack is the way. I don't know how you're getting crack, but okay. But
No good. No good. What made you decide that you wanted to be a therapist?
So this is the most ridiculous question people ask me all the time.
Really?
And here's my answer. All the time.
See, I guess I don't talk besides my we could understand this. Therapy is a hot job. It's a hot job. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh.
Because it's like this is the thing. It's about when you see someone out of a context. So when you see a therapist, you can't ask them questions. Because if you're seeing them in a professional setting, and I tried to do that. And I actually saw a couple bad therapists where they would let me. And I had this one therapist, Fred, who's disbarred. He's disbarred, Shavon, because in the Bangor Daily News, he had a client living with him and she says he pushed her down the stairs and like some fucking weird shit. But we had a weird relationship too. Cause he like visited me at college. Like it was a little bit weird. It was weird.
No, it was weird, period. Don't put a qualifier on that. Not a little bit. It was weird. That's weird.
See, but this is the thing. I liked Fred. We were it was like I would ask him about his daughter and we would talk about, so it did feel like we were friends a little bit.
Your therapist is not your friend at all. At all, period. Point blank. Your therapist is not your friend. It should not be your friend. It should not be friendly. No. He
was very friendly. That was what and I always was like, that was kind of weird. And then when it was in the news that and it was like a he said, she said, but let me tell you, no legit therapist is going to be in a situation because it's like, okay, so why was she at your fucking house living with you?
Period.
No.
Unethical on every form.
But it's a hot job because like, I remember this. I had done this thing and I was with a bunch of comedians and one of the comedians and so it's like all people, there's like 5 people in entertainment and one of the comedian's girlfriends, someone like asked what she did and she was like, oh, I lease like private jets or she like, and everyone was like, what? But that's what it's like when someone's a therapist and you meet them out of a context because you're like, oh, you guys, you're not just like in your therapy room.
Yeah, like
you're a person.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But no, more alluring than a teacher. My dad's a teacher. No one's ever asked him what made him want to be a teacher, unless they fucking had to. Unless they're at a party and they were next to each other and they were like,
why do you want to do that?
Yeah, but it's not like ooh, you know. Therapy is a sexy job. Therapy is an interesting job because people also, if they're self-absorbed, they want to. Okay, I would say this: therapists. Also, not as interesting, but very intriguing, dermatologist. Because people,
what?
No, not as intriguing at all, but people, when they meet a dermatologist, they're like, because right away they want to be like,
is this okay? Is this okay?
Exactly. And they know the dermatologist can.
I've never met a dermatologist. No, I've never met a dermatologist in my life. Nope.
I know too. They're.
I mean, that's the flex.
I would never ask him why he became a dermatologist. I could give 2 fucks actually. And I know it's like a relative. I really could. He's great, but I would never. I would ask him why he became a dermatologist. We were on a really long car ride together and I was like, okay, it's my turn to ask a question.
All right. Why did I become a therapist? Okay. So this is the answer. I'm an 80s latchkey kid, which
What's
means
latchkey mean?
I was left alone with the television to raise me 99% of my life. So,
and you grew up in Queens.
Yeah. So, one of the television shows that raised me was Growing Pains. So the father was a therapist, a psychologist, right? And he had a practice in his garage. You never saw it. They never showed it on the show. But sometimes he would come out of that door from his office and you have on like these Argyle sweaters and he would look very professional, but like still very like approachable. And he would like tell the boys, this or that, those weird 80s,
right.
sitcom moments when the music goes low and explaining about life and this or that. And the way he would speak to his children was so informative and lovely and nice. And he got mad and he was like a dad, but it was very sitcom or whatever. And I thought that it was cool that his office was in the garage. And
What if it had been something else? What if they were like, oh yeah, he's back there building teleprompters or something?
I would be building teleprompters.
Right.
But I thought that was cool. So I was 5 years old, and I was like,
wow.
Mommy, I'm going to be a psychologist. And she was like, yeah, okay, girl. So then I had that in the back of my head. So the two things I wanted to do in life, I remember writing it down, you know, when you're little, was psychologist and a backup dancer for Janet Jackson.
Now that's more common. That's because I think I said I want to be like a movie director or something. Psychologist, I would think, is probably pretty uncommon for kids.
Yeah, I was 5, and
right. Let's say very uncommon.
It's kind of ridiculous. So I've always wanted to do that. And that's so I've known all my life that's what I wanted to do, and I've always wanted to work with special needs people. Since I watched the show, I don't remember, but the character name was Corky, and he had Down syndrome, and I remember like the early 90s, late 80s, and I always wanted to work with people who had special needs from that show because I fell in love with him and his family and all that. So I also work, one of my specialties, but you know, is working with people who have special needs or who are not neurotypical and so forth and so on. So television is the reason why I do what I do.
See, I wouldn't have expected that at all. Do you have any insight onto why? Because I'll watch gay guy porn. And because I'm pretty like the only porn thing that I'll ever watch where I'm kind of like, I mean, I've watched a lot of like incest porn but all the porn I watch is just because I feel like I've fucking seen everything. So I'm trying to get it. So it's like, it's fucking at this point now in porn, if I watch it, it needs to get like ratcheted up. Or I don't know if that's the right term. Like,
it is.
Yeah,
it is.
like it needs to get like the dial. Because I just am like. But
you told me before you like gay male porn.
Yeah, why?
I mean, what do you like about it? Do you like the bodies?
No, I don't. That's not.
Do you project yourself into that position? Being one of the men?
What I like is the verbalness of it. So they're usually very verbal to each other. So I like that back and forth.
Okay.
And then, so that's why I like it.
Are you verbal when you're having sex?
Yeah, I try to be.
Are you verbal when you're having sex?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so maybe you're getting tips.
Right. Well, yeah, that'd be funny though if I try to start saying what gay guys say in my bedroom.
Yeah, give me that ass.
Yeah, I guess I could say all the. Well, a lot of the gay guys in the porn will call ass pussy.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and I was like, I like that.
See, so it sounds like you're projecting. Like,
I guess I am. I guess I am. But my poor mom, when she found like me watching straight porn and then gay porn, everything but quote unquote lesbian porn.
Lesbian porn is pretty bad. I don't think I've ever seen really good lesbian porn.
Never.
Most lesbian porn is made for male.
Right.
For the male gays.
Right.
Because lesbians, not the fake lesbians.
Right.
Real lesbian porn, I don't know how sexy that would be for other men. So people assume that that porn is for men, not for women. So I guess that's how that all connects. But
even though a lot of straight women watch lesbian porn. Yeah, because that's what they see themselves in it, and usually it's high femme. There's usually no kind of like gender variances. But if they wouldn't want that, if they want to see themselves in it, wouldn't that be weird if they don't actually want that? Or that's the same thing with me and the gay guys?
But I think it's just a fantasy of something that could possibly happen. Because if you're super high femme and you're dating somebody super high femme and too high, and somebody that's super attractive and high femme would be into you, you could see that and live that fantasy visually and watch that fantasy. Maybe not like to your own body, but you could still see how that would be attractive. And the female figure is one of the most beautiful things, right? So two beautiful women doing anything sexual is beautiful and visually stimulating, right? And it's just aesthetically pleasing.
Right. Although I'll watch something that's not aesthetically pleasing. This is how much more I am into verbal stuff. I watch this one porn. It was so fucking gross. It was like this like 400-pound guy. He was huge. Not that that's gross. Not that that is gross.
I was like, is this that gross? But okay.
No, I take that back. That was fat phobic of me, and I apologize.
So walk that back, but I got it.
Yeah,
gross.
I apologize. I felt gross after I watched it for whatever reasons. But I liked the porn. I watched it a couple times. Okay, there was this like huge guy. He was so big he couldn't sit up, and then this girl had to like lift up his stomach and like ride him around his stomach, but his stomach was so big it was like flopped over.
Oh,
and he was.
I have seen something like that though.
Oh, really? And he was talking dirty to her. So that I would rather that. I liked that visual when it was looped back into the dirty talk.
Oh, what's more interesting about this story is that you've seen it more than once,
and
that you said it was disgusting to you. That's the more important. That's the
right.
more interesting part, not the actual thing. The fact that you watched that same porn over and over again, and that you quantified it by said it was disgusting.
Yes,
to you. Fine. A preference is a preference.
But I shouldn't say. And I shouldn't say disgusting. I really think I really shouldn't say that because that is wrong. And I think it relates back to fear I have of when I was a kid, I was really overweight, and I used sugar as I felt like really like trapped in the cycle of binge eating and mm-hmm. just I felt totally out of control. So then I associate, if that were me in that body, I would associate it with being totally out of control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I need to not say FFK. Gross though.
FFKs they struggle with.
What's an FFK?
A former fat kid.
Oh yeah. Okay. Is that an official term?
Yeah, super official.
Oh really? An FFK?
It's just part of, like, I know my friends use it, or my friends from summer camp. That's how we used to say it.
Like about like behind the person's back?
No, I just said it to you.
Oh yeah, true. No. Yeah, it does. It really does stay, because there was someone that I was feeling like jealous of, and I said something about their weight, but I was like, I only say that about their weight, where I was bigger than that, and I have friends that are, and if someone said that about them, I would kill them. I go, you sick fuck, how dare you come? And then I was like, oh, that's because I'm secure about it, because if I were them, it would symbolize something different for me.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just projecting, and everybody projects the things that, I mean, I have people in my life that are so loud and boisterous, and they laugh loud, and they're just like big and like this gregarious characters, and like at work, and I'm like, ugh, I wish you would just shut up. But I'm like that. Like, I'm loud. I'm, full of life, and like,
you're friendly.
All of this. Yeah, but I saw somebody else doing that, and I was just like, oh, shut up. It's so annoying, because I feel like sometimes I could be a lot and annoying to people. Like, you know what I mean? So I never think of you as too loud. I wanted to quiet down.
I would never think of you as too loud. Like, I feel like you're very like in tune with the social situation, so but maybe I'm I'm loud too, so I don't notice it.
But I think I'm a New Yorker, so I'm inherently loud, and I'm also a Black woman, and I think that's something that's inherently for a Black woman too. So I appreciate those things about me.
Absolutely.
But I realize in other spaces that it may not be as cool, but I'm so conscious about it because I'm in spaces that's not celebrated.
Right.
So when I saw this other Black woman doing it, I was like, oh, she needs to calm down, and but it really wasn't that. It was me thinking, I should probably calm down too, because I think, you know what I mean? So I say that we all project the things on everybody else, and the mirror is, in front of us at all times. So I get that.
Did I tell you that someone said, because I was saying something, well, I've told you this, I'll say it on another one, but I had this story about how someone stole a chicken wing from me.
Yes.
I know I've told you this story like 20 times.
Emma has told me this story.
You might have heard it. I haven't told it on this podcast yet.
Times, and it's really upsetting her. I don't know.
But did I tell you that there was a double win for this person because I was calling the person a chicken wing thief? Did I tell you this?
No, there's a development in the story. Go ahead.
There is. So I'll tell you guys in the intro, I'll mention this story. Someone stole a chicken wing from me. So I was calling them, and there was already some back tension,
Mm-hmm.
They're always big dogging me, I feel. So I said
like,
that.
You
say it again.
You felt the tension. I don't know if there was tension from the other person. You felt threatened though.
Yeah.
Right?
Better believe it.
Okay. I was like, just let's be clear.
Yeah, there might not have been.
Right.
You're right. There might not have been. There was. But there might not have been. But so I was saying chicken wing thief and I would say it in select company because I didn't want to, it doesn't look good to talk bad about people. I said to one person, they mentioned the person, I said, fuck, chicken wing thief. And they went, hey. It's this was kind of a nerdy white guy. And he went, hey. And I was like, what? I was like, that's fucking, I know. But the way he was saying it, I was like, and he was like, you don't want to be racist. And I was like, huh? Oh, and then I was like, well, fuck her. No matter. I was like, I'll throw that in her too. But I was kind of like, but, and then I was like, oh shit. And I was like, no, she took the chicken wing. I'm not calling her a chicken wing. It could have been a cookie. It could have been a plate of hummus. I hadn't connected that. Fucking A. And now I'm thinking, oh God.
You just said it. I didn't connect it to you. Just said it.
I didn't connect it because it literally took me a minute because I was like, I don't want to be racist. I was like, but I mean, I still don't like her. So
no, I don't think it had anything to do with the piece of food.
It had nothing to do with the piece of food. It was that she took it.
She took it without asking.
And I fucking love chicken wings.
Yes.
I like the barbecue sauce. The Frank's barbecue sauce. But so it didn't even occur to, I was like, and then it was like, it hurt my brain for a second. And then when he said that, I was like, oh God, like she wins again is what happens.
Yeah, you can't say it now. Especially now it's out there and you know about it now. So now you can't say it.
Right. And then I was like, oh God, have I said that to someone else that was thinking I was literally calling her a chicken wing thief? Because I wouldn't say the story. I'd be like, that fucking chicken wing thief. Like,
no, I would have never guessed. Because I know who the person is, and I knew from the beginning when you first told me the story, I did not connect.
But when I told you the story, I gave you a full play-by-play.
Yeah, of course.
So you knew she really took the wing.
Yes.
But I didn't give them a play-by-play. I just they said the name. I went chicken wing thief.
What? So automatically associated, like I think that's more racist. Because he automatically associated that person's race with chicken.
Right. He didn't give me the benefit that she had really, he didn't give me the benefit that she really did take, that she literally.
It's a literal nickname. Like the nickname stemmed from an actual incident. He was, because he was like, oh, well, this person's black. That's what it is. Like, that's.
Or that I was, well, I find, and I try to put this on myself too, if you're in the privileged position, then you can never fully be trusted with your analysis of something. So I'll try, I do believe that. And I remember I took this class in college and this woman came and spoke, and it was a white woman speaking about antiracism, and she said that, and I got really upset. I was like, how can we
talking about antiracism? I guess you could talk about it to other white people.
Well, that's what the point of the class was. That was the point of the class. There was this teacher, her name was Becky. Yeah, her name was Becky, which is kind of funny, actually. This teacher named Becky had a class. Maybe her name wasn't Becky, and it was just like a joke. Becky and Karen were teaching this. Her name was Becky Thompson. And she had a class about white people, anti-racism for white people, so people of color didn't have to deal with it, so they could go disperse amongst themselves. That was the class. And it was like, and then she would like be overseeing, like, you know, with your guys' therapy, how you guys see your overseer, what are they called?
The overseer?
What is it called? The checker-inner? Your planner? It's not a boss. What are they called? Supervisor!
You can't say overseer when you're talking about race. Emma, no!
No. But I'm talking about you're with the therapy. You guys see your supervisor.
But it's too close to race.
Okay. But so she would go see she had a supervisor, and the supervisor was, she would go in and it was all women of color, like kind of other academics supervising. And then she would go, and she would always say that it was frustrating because most people that signed up for the class were people of color. And she's like, she was like, which is good for them. She's like, but this is stuff you don't need to know. This is stuff for white people. And I took the class, my tie-in was it, because I don't want to get credit that I shouldn't get. My tie-in was I was in an interracial relationship. And so I was like, I want to do this. But I remember this woman came in and said that about if you're in the dominant group of something, you can't necessarily trust your analysis of a situation. And I was like, fucking what? You can't, how can I not? And then now I was like, oh yeah.
It's so true.
It's so true.
That's good. And the fact that you remembered.
Oh, because it was very poignant when she said it. And my reaction was too much.
Was very white, right?
Yeah, I know. And it was, I got upset. And I remember I took up a lot of space. I took up a lot of space.
To be like, me?
Yeah. And I took up a lot of space in the classroom and in the conversation about it. I went to go see the teacher.
Always.
And the teacher, no, I went to go see, I went to see the teacher and I went to go see the teaching assistant.
About that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's peak whiteness.
Peaked. I mean, I was like, how can she say that someone can't be trusted? And I want to do justice to what she said, but it was kind of like, you can't trust your analysis because
your view is completely colored.
It's
pardon the pun. Like it's completely colored by your glasses. Like you'll never know. You'll never know.
And it's like it's just so seeped into everything that when you try to untangle it, you can, because I'll do that. I'll try to think of myself. I'll be like, well, I can't be trusted sometimes in terms of me reacting too much to something where I'll think, now I've been learning where it'd be like, I'll think someone, I'm trying to think of a good example. If I think someone's trying to screw me over, also no pun intended, black and white thinking, but in terms of, it's either this or it's that. And then I'll go, maybe you can't be trusted right now because you'll err on the side of a more extreme thinking.
Yeah, of course.
So that's helped me.
That happens in my life too. Like I had lost a friend of so many years. They didn't die. We stopped being friends. And because of that, my friendships are very important to me. And those who I put my energy into are very important. But
wait, why'd you guys stop becoming friends? You don't have to give specifics, but I had a friend break up recently too. Fucking awful.
It's awful. It colored a lot of like my friendships. But long story short, I think I was their best friend, and they were not my best friend. No, wait. She was my best friend, and I wasn't hers. So I was giving everything, and then it wasn't reciprocated, and it took me forever to see that. And then when I did, I was like, oh, I'll just give them a little test and like, it'll be fine. And then they failed. And then I really knew, like it smacked me in my face that they weren't really close to me. As I thought that we were. Right. And it was really hurtful. So because of that, friendships now, I'm so nervous that I'm being taken advantage of, or it's happening all over again, or this friend isn't really my friend over something so small. It could be like, I'll text you, don't text me right back. And I'm like, then you're my friend. You're my friend. And then my wife would be like, calm down. Like, or I meet somebody and immediately we're best friends. And she's like, you just met that person. You're not best friends. Like, what? That's not what it is. Because of this relationship that I thought was one thing and it really was something else. And you know what I mean? So I think that happens all the time. And because of that, I have to run it by other people. And I would talk to my wife and be like, this happened between me and this person. Am I feeling triggered because of that other thing? Or is it just they didn't text me back? And she was like, no, they're busy. They have XYZ in their life. They're probably doing this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or
sometimes they probably are being shitty. And then that's important to know too.
Say, they're being shitty. Yeah, absolutely. Then she'll say, no, they're a dick. And I'm like, okay, I got it. They're a dick. Got it. Or somebody being flaky, or, you know what I mean? Like I have to check in because I never really know what's happening.
You say
of that situation. Yeah.
It's a good thing to realize about yourself. Oh, it's hard though. But it's hard to be like,
so hard.
It's easier for me to do it about the white privilege thing or with class stuff, but with the me reacting to thinking like, or I'll think someone's trying to screw me over, or I'll think someone wants more from me than I can give. Mm-hmm. It'll just be and I don't know. I think that's because I don't know, but it always like stems back to, so you gotta look at it like, yeah, I can't be.
I think you need to run it by somebody else, and that's what I have to do. And just because I'm a therapist, I can't analyze my own shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and my wife is not a therapist at all. But,
and that's why you see the supervisor. And
that's why I have a supervisor, because I'll be like, oh, this happened. Or if a client says something and I'll be like, oh, but I reacted this way. Is this countertransference, or am I reacting okay to this? So like, what happens? And she'll ask me personal questions, and then we'll process that together. She's not my therapist, but
she's your supervisor.
Yeah, I'll run situations over with her to be like, oh, what's happening? What's this or whatever. So it's like a check-in. It's like a professional check-in.
And then
it's a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit more intimate
than a therapy is.
No, it's more intimate than like a professional, like your boss at work. It's more intimate.
Oh, I see.
Because like if you like worked, in an office or something, and you checked in with your like supervisor, you wouldn't be telling them your innermost thoughts. You know what I mean? Because Karen didn't file it right or whatever.
Right. You wouldn't be talking about your transference on. You wouldn't be giving as much backstory. How'd you feel at the HR meeting today? Well, as a child, I didn't get to go celebrate Easter, and because of that, I fucking hate the Easter bunny.
Like, Karen, go file the papers, girl. Nobody cares.
Like, yeah. Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
And will you come back in another episode and talk about dreams? Because I had people write in dreams and then someone analyzed them, but I would love to talk about them with you so we can brainstorm the analysis of the dream. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's like a whole subset, very small but very controversial subset of therapy, like dream analysis, because it's all subconscious and unconscious. So that
this is not from a therapist. This would be not with your therapy hat on. This would just be good. This would not be with your therapy hat on.
Yeah,
this would be having an interest in people hat on.
Oh yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah,
because the woman who I sent some of these dreams to, I was like, whoa, she was really good. And I talked to her on the phone. She's not like, she was great, but she wasn't. I mean, I feel like the word kooky is really dismissive. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting someone like Carol Baskin from the Tiger King is what I was expecting.
Oh, cool.
Wasn't like that. You liked Carol Baskin?
I think this is what I will say about Carol Baskin. I don't know that woman. All I know is misogyny is the thing in life. And
no,
listen to me. Misogyny is real, and
it is.
And the fact that this woman has now been vilified because of this other man, and all of the mess he said about her, and all of his other issues, right? Nobody talks about how he exploited these young men with the drugs.
She's doing the same thing.
They were, but no.
She was making money.
Was of age. Her husband was of age.
Well,
let's talk about that.
But about the Tigers, she was making money off the Tigers and not paying the employees.
But I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm just talking about, occupation exploitation is a thing. But I'm just saying, everybody is making fun of Carol. I mean, people make fun of Joe too. What? People make fun of Carol.
You're right. He's not
she killed her husband. She does
getting
whatever.
the same flack.
But Mr. Joe was doing wild stuff with different types of men. He was using drugs to entice these men. He was misappropriating funds. He was doing wild stuff with the meat and the rancid meat and the Walmart meat.
He was misappropriating funds?
But wasn't he getting money? And
I'm sure. I have no doubt in my mind he was misappropriating funds. I'm sure. Yeah.
But I'm sure there was some going out. But my point is, Carol has now become this like, her name becomes synonymous with like this evil woman. But I'm like, Joe was doing wild shit too. So why only Carol? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of misogyny that's going on with this Carol thing, and nobody knows if she killed her husband or not. She's not been tried. But Joe has been tried. Joe is in jail.
Right.
Like, Joe is in jail. And I'm not saying I have a belief in the justice system, so do not go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of misogyny going on.
She's getting a disproportionate amount of flack, but I hate her. I hate the way she talks.
I just think there's a lot of misogyny happening, and I think Carol's getting a lot, is the brunt of a lot of it, because one, she's a woman,
and her personality is not a winning one. Charisma is king. You don't have to have a sparkling personality to be treated fairly and
little cats and kittens.
I love that Cool Cats and Kids.
Oh.
I think this is dope. It's a cute log. I love it. However, misogyny is real, and y'all leave Carol alone. She won. She won. Okay. She won. She's still out here with her website. She got her millions and trillions.
Oh yeah, she won.
She got her husband.
Yeah, she won, but
she won. Leave her.
She won, but I mean, she won. She's got the money. She's got the money. She's got the cats. She's got the Facebook group.
She has the business. She has it all. So
she won.
Because y'all think she killed her husband, but y'all don't even know because y'all wasn't there.
I think she did it.
But we know Joe tried to kill her, and we know Joe was out there with them young boys and that meth, though. Y'all know that, but y'all not mad at Joe? Like, Joe was out here wilding.
But this is exactly why George Bush won, and this is why, because Joe is someone you'd want to have a beer with. Like, when he did that clip, and he's like, I'm gay, I'm broke as fuck, and blah, blah, blah. You're like, I want to hang out with that guy. Carol's psycho ass on the porch being like, oh, I'm just here to help, and acting kind of self-righteous. Get me out of here.
I don't want to hang out with none of them because anybody who wants to keep those wild animals in the cage, in the sanctuary, in the that stuff is a little, I don't know, there's something a little interesting about why you think you can tame a wild animal.
Oh, absolutely.
They're literally wild. Leave them animals alone. Like,
right.
If they happen to walk down the street and wander into my yard in Brooklyn, yeah, I'll keep them there until somebody most qualified to get them back to the Serengeti or wherever they live. Yeah.
If that happens in your yard in Brooklyn, I can guarantee it's just some fucking weird ass New Yorker. That's stuff like a cat. Oh, someone had a joke. Dan St. Germain had a joke where he was like, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, I know I've lived in New York too long because the other day I was on a subway and I heard a meow and I was like, oh great, some guy's dressed up like a cat in the subway. And then I looked and it was actually a cat.
You're like, oh great, somebody's a cat person now.
Yeah, one of these fucking cat people. And then you look over and he's like,
I don't know.
What?
I just say leave Carol alone. She won.
Okay, that's a hot take.
Listen. Woman for women. That's all around.
Where can people find you online?
You can't.
You can't find you online? Is your Instagram private?
Yeah, my Instagram
is
so
private. I got the exclusive.
My Instagram is private. And this is why, because if my clients find me online, they're going to be reading into my life.
You're right. You're right. Totally. You're right.
I could have one of those, this might sound shady and it is what it is, but if I had like a professional Instagram account, for what? I'm on the webpage. If people want therapy, they can find me through the,
you're right.
You can find me to ask for, if you want me to be your therapist, you can find me through that channel. If you're looking for a therapist, I'm on listserv. You can look it up and you can find me there. My personal Instagram is for me, my family, and my friends.
You're right. I don't need
clients looking me up and like, oh, she's into
of course.
puzzles.
Of course.
Like, we don't need
Right. Right. You're right. You're right.
My son or my wife or whoever I'm taking or my brunch pics. I don't.
Okay. So do not try to find Shavon. But thank you so much for sitting down with me. I appreciate it. That was my episode with Shavon. If you're interested in seeking out therapy, you can find Shavon online at s.gaddy, G as in God, A as in Adam, D as in Diddy, D as in Diddy, Y as in you, D as in dairy, A as in Adam, L as in llama, R as in rhyme, Y as in you, M as in mom, P as in pineapple, L as in loser, E as in Emma. You get that? At gmail.com. So, but also if you're interested in going to get therapy and it's something you can swing right now, you know, it's helpful. I can't front on that. It really is. And it's a relationship. Because I've seen some therapists that are better than others, and what's tough, better for me than others. And what's tough is usually when you seek out a therapist, you're at like a vulnerable point. And I know when I first saw a therapist, the therapist Shavon and I talk about, the one that I had like Fred, that was like my quote unquote friend that would like visit me in college, and we like stayed in touch. And I mean, I actually liked the guy. But it was not, he was prescribing me all these pills. Don't worry, he got in plenty of trouble. If you Google, Fred Bangor, Maine. That's my man. That's my Fred with the staircase. Not the Netflix thing, the staircase, but it's him. He got in trouble. But at the time, I didn't know. I thought something was kind of off, but I didn't trust myself enough to be like, I just thought, I was like, oh, therapy is not good. I didn't look at the therapist as a person. And then years later, I saw this woman in Boston who changed my life. I mean, the therapy was incredible. Just insights through the ass. That's what she says on her website. Insights through the ass. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. Email me, emmasbunker@gmail.com. Please rate and review on iTunes. iTunes. That's where it's at, iTunes. iTunes. You know, I appreciate it. You might be like, what's my one rating going to do? A lot. If you can't think of anything to say, just say hi. And do this and do the stars. Hi, do the stars. Hi and do the stars. This has been another episode of Emma's Bunker.
Oh, Emma. Please welcome back.